Today we'll be showcasing the Oyster Perpetual with the blue Tiffany dial. Big thank you to David SW for loaning us this watch for review, more on them later. This is a very special timepiece. In fact, it is my favorite modern Rolex. Up until 2020, the Oyster Perpetual collection was seen as an entry-level piece. Although, those who knew what was powering these pieces would know there was nothing entry-level about them. The movement you get in the Oyster Perpetual is exactly the same as you would get in a Rolex no-date Submariner. The design alone is one of the truest form of what Rolex used to be. The new collection, including this blue Tiffany dial, has taken the watch industry by storm. A true underdog story that finally prevailed. The Tiffany blue dial is as hard to get as ceramic Daytonas. While many assume there's going to be a bubble, in my opinion, not in this case. This watch is truly special, and when Rolex decides to discontinue this color, I wouldn't be surprised if prices get closer to Daytonas. The dial is very special. Many call it Tiffany blue because this color is iconic to that brand. Rolex has a history with Tiffany & Co. In fact, most pieces that are stamped Tiffany are some of the most collectible vintage Rolexes in the world. Let's discuss the technical specifications. The reference number we have is the 124300. This piece has a 41mm case by 47.4mm lug to lug, which means top to bottom, and a case thickness of 11.5mm. This piece does have a sapphire crystal, screw down crown, and water resistance up to 100 meters, so it will fit perfectly with your everyday life. The movement powering this piece is the 3230. This is an updated version of the 3130. This caliber is in fact COSC certified and has an accuracy of plus or minus 2 seconds per day and has a total power reserve of 70 hours. So for your reference, I have a 6.5-inch wrist. Now, this piece personally, I do like it at 41mm. When they first released it, I was a little bit upset that they got rid of the 39. But having this on the wrist, especially in this color, I do enjoy the 41mm, as I mentioned with my previous review of the green dial. I consider this piece a summer watch, something I would buy during the heat, something I would wear to the beach, something I would enjoy as well, as I mentioned, a summer watch. So every watch has its negatives, and with that in mind, I'm gonna give my personal negative, and that is the bracelet. Bracelet is great, but the clasp does not have a glide lock. I know that the Oyster Perpetuals never had a glide lock because it's kind of treated as a more entry-level piece rather than the Submariner. But in this case, with a watch like this, and a watch that I will be considering a summer watch, during the heat, I would like a glide lock. It would just make it so much more comfortable. This is an absolutely beautiful watch. Now, I'm gonna give you a bit of behind the scenes. As a photographer, I try my best to showcase the watch as how you would see it in real life. Sometimes with professional lighting and a really good camera, the watch tends to look a little bit better than it does in real life. Not in this case. The Oyster Perpetual looks as beautiful as you see here in footage as it does in real life. When I held this watch, I really didn't want to let it go. I loved it so much. It was just a little bit out of my personal budget. Maybe for now. But in my opinion, for anybody that owns this piece or you want to own it, I do highly recommend it. Just because it's not a Daytona, just because it's not a sub, doesn't mean it's not an incredible piece. But guys, big thank you to David SW for sponsoring this video. If you guys are interested in any luxury timepiece, Patek, Rolex, AP, Richard Mille, David SW carries all those brands, and they provide some of the best services here in the Orlando, Florida area. If you guys are interested, make sure you hit up davidsw.com, or if you're in Orlando, make sure you stop by their shop. They have a lot of incredible watches, and unlike a lot of businesses, you can actually see these hard to get watches in their store. So guys, big thank you to David SW, and thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comment section below what you think about this timepiece, and I will see you in the next one.